Ryback wins the match. He pulled one out against Chris Jericho here. There was the whole Cryback storyline going on, and he wins with a roll up. What?
To beat Jericho, Cryback had to use a roll-up. Let me just say that one more time. In order for Cryback to defeat Chris Jericho, he had to use a roll-up.
A freaking roll-up?
This unstoppable type of guy loses for an entire year straight while they keep telling us that he's unstoppable. He wins his first match, and it's not even against somebody who's huge like the Big Show, and he still has to win with a roll-up. That is stupid.
Now that speaks volumes.
Perfect booking.
Really?
No.
I'm like, yeah, in order to push the Cryback character of being the squeamy, need to pull out all wins and all stops heel character that apparently seems to be going for now. He's no longer a beast. Let's stop trying to push that now. It just does not exist. As for the match quality, it's Ryback working a pay-per-view match.
I really think that he had potential to be like the new Batista, and they fucked him over with that whole losing streak.
I think it was a timing issue because honestly, I think back to the Ryback versus Punk Cell matchup. Had it not been for the fact that they were building Punk up for The Rock, they'd have put the belt on Ryback. I have no doubt in my mind they would have done that. I mean, given this was right around the time where a lot of people were doubting Punk as a main eventer because the ratings were starting to fade during Punk's reign, I think that they probably would have hotshotted the belt onto Ryback and he would have been a much bigger star.
I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. He should have been redeemed at the Royal Rumble. Ryback and the WWE Championship that was never going to happen because he was getting pushed too fast.
But that's fine. You can be pushed too fast and still be rebounded like a Sheamus. Sheamus was pushed to the moon when he first came in. He had a bit of a lull, and now he's really the de facto number 2 babyface in the WWE.
Well, that's what happens when you read out of Triple H's handbook to be successful in the WWE. You kind of go places, being a workout buddy and all.
I'm just saying it is possible if you really want to push a guy hard and keep the momentum going. You just gotta want to do it. And for some reason, WWE after the Cell matchup just completely gave up on him. And I can understand him kind of going down by the wayside a little bit. It's kind of like what Chris Jericho said in his book. When you're in WWE, it's a rotating wheel. Sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you're at the bottom. But I mean, he's pulling Zack Ryder figures in terms of how far he's fallen. I mean,
the heel turn really killed him.
I think what killed him was his loss to Mark Henry. I think that should have been his moment where he really rebuilt up as a believable monster, and they just kind of he fell. I think it was that Mark Henry fell onto Ryback and pinned him.
Yeah, he grabbed the rope while Ryback had him up for a shell shock, and then Henry fell like on top of his head and then pinned him right after that. Yeah.
Stupid.
Then they had him turn heel, and oh god, the heel promos he cut after that did him absolutely no favors.
Where were you, Jerry? Or what did he say? What was the person he was with? He was talking.
Where were you,
John? Where were you when I was getting beaten by the Shield, John? Where were you?
Clearly the beginning of the Cryback character, and they didn't even know it then.
Well, it took Jericho to spell out the obvious.
Yeah. He invented the word Cryback.
We're gonna have an ambulance match.
You're not taking enough pauses in there. Every other word has to be.
It's not pauses. It's reps. It's like he can't freaking move his lips properly.
Who does that worse, him or John Laurinaitis? Laurinaitis was bad when it came to that.
Yeah, but John Laurinaitis sounded like he had asthma. What's Ryback's excuse? I'm collapsing under my own weight.
Maybe he's just hungry.
Where were you, John? See Soon he won't be able to talk. His whole gimmick will be like he's having hiccups or a seizure or something.
Don't say
Don't
it.
put
They're
it past
gonna
WWE.
fucking
We
do it.
got Matt Morgan the stutterer. Don't put it past him.
It'll be C's back.
I'm surprised he didn't lose this match by forfeit.
Maybe. Oh my god, this is fucking
Well,
terrible.
in any event, I'm just happy that I got points. That's all that matters.
It's
Yeah.
a shameful final pay-per-view match for Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and the thing that annoys me the most, they could have redeemed Ryback any chance after the whole Punk scenario, after everything. They could have redeemed Ryback. They had plenty of chances to do so, but instead they just kept burying the guy. I feel really bad for him. I feel really bad for Jericho for having to put up with that bullshit. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he decided to finish up, because
Well, that and Fozzy.
that's a TNA thing. What would have made that match even worse if it was a reverse something? They could have had it as like a reverse.
A reverse roll-up match.
Was it
Yeah,
bad because of his
or-
whole Cryback shtick he's got going on now?
reverse freaking
Reverse cage match.
reverse cage match, or even a reverse submission match.
No, it's a reverse Money in the Bank
to
match.
say-
You have to put the briefcase on the hook.
Or a reverse I quit match. So match stoppage wins.
So does he win by forfeit, or does that kind of?
Yeah, how do you do
Well-
that? How do you win a reverse I quit match? By quitting?
Yes.
You have
There
to
you
get
go.
the person to want to wrestle.
But you're comparing it to these ridiculous reverse gimmicks, but it was just a one-on-one match. Is it more the fact that he's Cryback? More than anything for you, Burhan?
I think it's worse that there's not much to talk
The
about
thing
in this
is,
match.
I'm one of the guys behind Ryback. I was way behind his push. Then I watched him work the Royal Rumble, and that soured it. But even then, I felt he can be redeemed. If they put him into a situation, if they gave him an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship, he could have been redeemed. Instead, they just... The dude took a nosedive without a fucking parachute. It was ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up watching Ryback become a janitor somewhere on WWE TV, going, "I'll be back."
Why do they need a janitor when they got Eric Rowan?
He does look like it. It's so fucking weird.
And that's about it.
Yeah, it kind of knocks it all out. And as Miguel mentioned, some points.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
And who has Jericho?
Funny enough, Brendan Ligon just grabbed Jericho because he traded Chris Jericho for Antonio Cesaro. I believe was a trade that him and Leon made.
Yeah,
So,
I foolishly took Jericho, not realizing that I'd basically even out on points. And so all of a sudden Brandon pops up and goes, "Dude, I'll trade you Antonio Cesaro for Chris Jericho." I'm like, "Deal, done."
Bye.
That couldn't have worked out better, especially considering Jericho's leaving.
Right.
So now Brendan is kind of shit out of luck. He didn't give me a sub to put in this week, so I guess he's going to sit with Jericho a little longer.
I just remember the post where he just went, "I'm an idiot."
I don't know if I responded to that or not, but I probably did.
All right, coming up next, World Heavyweight Championship, Alberto Del Rio against Dolph Ziggler.